voice with leaders and associates to enact policies and promote mindsets and behaviors that appreciate and value diversity, equity, and belonging for over 20,000 associates in North America. She is the first to be appointed to this position. She also serves as Global D&I sponsor for Group Bimbo, which serves 34 countries. Her sponsorship extends to many. She's proud of the work that she supports that welcomes all dimensions of diversity, including people with all abilities, veterans, and different faiths. In case you couldn't hear that. Nikki began her career as a sales and marketing professional with the Kellogg Company. She has also held roles with Frito-Lay Inc. and Sara Lee. As a member and volunteer to several organizations, she leverages those commitments to challenge change to systemic societal issues. Nikki holds a bachelor's degree from Clark Atlanta University in Atlanta, Georgia, and has also completed coursework at Cornell University for the Modern Chief Diversity Officer. She's based in Chicago and appreciates fellowship with her family and friends, and is a brunch and basketball enthusiast. Please welcome Nikki Lang.
All right, is this on? I don't know if it is. I don't know if I need to turn it on. Testing, now it's on. Can you all hear me okay?
Yeah. Can you all hear Nikki? Please say.
Yes, yes, all right. So the first thing I'm gonna say is this is gonna be my makeshift podium, so I'm going to be standing here a lot. Hopefully those of you on this side can see my slides pretty well, but I'll start by saying good afternoon. Good afternoon. And I'm excited to be in front of you. I've just joined you all for the last couple of hours and have watched the interactions, which have all been authentic, always inspiring to see that. People are kind, people are speaking. I feel like I'm at home. That's always a good thing. And I couldn't really be more happy to be here to meet Dr. Ruiz as well, who I remember a couple of years ago, our first and our second conversation. And so thank you for continuing to be a friend to me and to Bimbo Bakeries USA. And the way that you are leading with your whole heart right now makes me very happy. And I know many of you are feeling the same way as well. So my name is Nikki Lang, as mentioned earlier. I'm actually joining you from Chicago, which is home for me. I'm going to share just a little bit about what I do. I think Johnny set it up very well, so I don't have a whole lot more to share. But it's important to just kind of give you that background into understanding like why I'm here today and why I want to be here today. So for the past 3.5 years, I have served as our company's head of diversity, equity, and belonging, which is honestly been quite an honor. It's we're the world's largest baker, and I'll share more about our brands later on. But why that's significant is because it allows us to be in spaces and to support people that historically are not supported. And so one of the areas specifically that I think is just so common that people may support in maybe gender, sometimes race, but what gets left behind sometimes are people with different and all abilities. And so that's something that I've been really proud to integrate in our journey that we've been working on since 2012. And I also want to shout that out, that we've actually been working on it since 2012, being a real authentic journey. I'll share more on my next slide, but my work does touch 20,000 associates. I also get to work directly with my president's team and his leadership team to make sure that the leaders of our organization are truly embodying everything that I'm going to stand up here and talk about with you today. And it's around 3 specific areas. So it's around our workforce and making sure that our workforce has representation from all different walks of life, both being able to see that externally and as well as internally. We want our workplace to embody belonging and equity. And then I get to actually do things in our marketplace, like connect with people that buy our products and consumers as well. Just remembered that I had slides that I wanted to show you. It's interesting because I've been in this role with my company for really it's 4 years now, I think. And people ask me, well, how long have I been doing this? And I like to tell people I've kind of been doing it my whole life. If you hadn't recognized, kind of like I live a life that actually will always represent ways that we can be more equitable because I identify as a woman and, I'm visibly African American Black. So it's been something that I've been doing for quite some time. But I really love what I do. I love bringing really more processes and things that are more formal to our workforce and our organization. So again, excited to be here with you. My bio kind of says it all. Last night, where are the basketball fans at? Do we have any? Okay, we got a couple. Last night I was up watching basketball games, so that's like the personal side of me. It's the play-in tournament for those of you that may or may not be NBA fans, but you also know what happened a week ago, right? When UConn won for the women's championship. I spend a lot of time when I am not doing my formal job following basketball. It's kind of sad, it's kind of sick, but those are the ways that I release is through sports. And then also I do love to spend time with friends and family, brunch. And I do a lot of volunteering. And I know that doesn't sound like incredibly fun to people, but when used the right way in connecting with people that have similar interests, that is indeed a passion of mine. And it's fun for me. So, maybe a bit lame, maybe not. Outside of what I did or what I do now, what I previously did was I led a lot of customer teams. And I tell people I led customers from Amazon to Aldi, with the exception of Walmart. And led teams that really developed our products regardless of the company that I worked for. So that was a lot of fun for me. And I would say that gave me probably a lot of my confidence to be able to talk to people and to connect with people as well. So I do want to share more about our company, right? And so the reason that I want to share more is because, as mentioned, in 2012, we started our journey on diversity, equity, and inclusion. And at the time, we were just kind of like jumping in and knew that it was the right thing to do because we wanted to attract people and we wanted to represent what we knew was authentic, but kind of didn't know really how to express it. And so when we started to kind of redefine our journey, as a lot of companies did in 2020, one of the things that we thought about was what really gives us kind of a seat at the table to be able to have a voice in the room, to be able to say that we indeed do believe in everything that's going on for the case of good, and that we want to be contributors, have a seat at the table, kind of eradicate systemic issues, that we wanted to indeed connect with our consumers better than we were, that we do want to show that we care about our consumers. And so how could we do that? So it's interesting because you'll hear me talk about a case for good later on, because I do believe that everyone probably has a case for good and should have a case for good. But we don't call our business case in our organization a business case. We call it indeed a case for good. And it's based on what you're seeing here. So we talked about, first of all, our beliefs. Our company has been around globally since 1945. And in 1945, they were already talking about just people, not race, not gender, not anything else, just people. And so we felt like our journey was authentic enough to start to build off of that and talk about how people thrive and how they contribute. And so we did just that. Once we recognize kind of that people are in the center of our operations, they make our operations grow and thrive, then we started to talk about our size. And our size is that we actually sell, you can find our products in 50 states across the United States. So the company is based out of Mexico City, the global company. And it's in 34 countries. In the US, we're based out of Pennsylvania, and we serve all 50 states. So we kind of felt like, okay, people may not know us as Bimbo Bakeries, but they know our brands. And so when we started to then say that, we started thinking about the bakery category. The bakery category is found in 99% of US households. So somebody in somebody's house is buying some sort of bakery or snack brand. And the reason I'm saying snack brand is because our brands are Entenmann's. Our brands are Thomas English Muffins and Arnold Bread and Sara Lee. So it's not even just sandwich bread. And then one of our newest brands is Takis, for those of you that have heard of that. I knew that there would be a certain generation of people that would start nodding and saying, yes, Takis. Okay, so indeed, that is what made us feel like we have a seat at the table to be able to talk more about belonging, about people, about our society, and where we go right, and sometimes where we have opportunity as well. So I'm going to transition and start to ask really a very simple question. And this is where I ask for a little participation for those that would like to participate and can participate. I'm just going to ask, how do you feel? And if anyone is at a 10, please raise your hand. Scale of 1 to 10. You're at a 10 every day, thriving. Let me see hands. We got a proud one brave one person. Okay. How about those that are maybe at an 8? That's actually really good. An 8. How do you feel at about an 8? This is going to be my crew right here. This is my tribe. How about folks that are about at a 7, 6? That's my tribe. Yep. I figured it would kind of play out like that. I appreciate the 10 in the room, but I figured that the majority would be around that 7 and 6. So the reason that's important is because I do want to, acknowledge kind of where we are right now, which is uncertain times, right? So we're in the middle of a lot right now. And the last time I checked, I know they don't really do the pledge in schools anymore, but the Pledge of Allegiance said that it was liberty and justice for all. For all. Last time I checked on the definition, all, guess what it said? All. All means all. And we're all in on that. So in the middle of understanding that funding could be cut for special institutions, and I think that that's important to call out, in the middle of kind of policy updates that happen, medical debt that continues to escalate, I think it's really safe for us to say that we're in uncertain times, which really, I got an amen? Yeah, thank you. I think it's safe to say that we're in the midst of uncertain times, which means that it's all the more reason for us to know who we are and whose we are. So how do you empower and heal during uncertain times? I'm sorry, the slide on my laptop is a build slide. I don't think that's the same for here. Okay. So how do we heal and empower during uncertain times? Anybody familiar with this poem? Right. I'm going to read it. for those of you that aren't familiar with it or may have an issue seeing it as it is on screen. So first they came for the communists, and I did not speak out because I was not a communist. Then they came for the socialists, and I did not speak out because I am not a socialist. Then they came for the unionists, and I did not speak out because I am not a trade unionist. Then they came for the Jews, and I did not speak out because I was not a Jew. Then they came for me, and no one was left to speak out for me. Because remember what I said just a little while ago, which is it's liberty and justice for all, and we're all in, right? The author of this poem was actually a German Lutheran preacher. And he wrote this poem during the time of Hitler's reign. And so you would probably think that he would have at some point been a supporter of Hitler. And I found out that actually at one point he was, until things started to go extreme. But in my opinion, the most valuable thing that he left us was a lesson about allyship. Our friends, you see that over time, that history continues to give us the gift that we are supposed to support one another. And we're better when we're together at helping one another. After all, there is not a single person that can get to the next destination without help or alone. And so everyone, this whole self-made thing, get it out of your mind. Because it's impossible, number one, to be self-made, but most importantly, it is important to realize that we need allyship. There's an African proverb that actually says, it kind of focuses on the collective strength of people. And it says, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. And so this specifically reminds me of a model that we have in our job right now. So at my job right now, we talk about things that are dimensions of diversity and different layers that we all have. For example, externally, you can tell about me, I'm relatively short. You can tell that maybe some of you up close can tell my hair is graying and I refuse to dye it. So we're just gonna have to work through that. You can tell, obviously I said earlier, I identify as a woman, I identify as African American. Things you don't see about me, my faith, my background, how I was raised, the values that I have, what I value and what I don't value. Every single attribute is valuable, my friends, every single attribute. And so we're meant to complement one another. And I've seen a lot of that today, by the way. We have to stay up, we have to stay linked up, and allyship at its clearest form means advocating for one another, okay? I saw a documentary a couple of months ago, and I'm adopting this as my own, but I'm adding to it. We are not a country that lets people fend for themselves, right? And we're not a country that says that people make it on their own. We help, we love, we support, and we pray for one another. Allyship is actually what brought me here today, okay? So we need allyship to empower and heal, to heal and empower. We also need to remember our case for good. And everybody has their own case for good because it gives us purpose. So these little hands actually represent our future. And it's our future that we have to be concerned about because our case for good gives us purpose, okay? So it's not just about living in the now, although I want you to be present, I want you to feel, I want you to understand everything that's going on right now, but we also live to make things better for people that come behind us in our future. Our case for good is actually why we wake up every day, right? And I was inspired to hear that 70% of Americans actually just want to do good. Want to do good, want to do right by someone. 70% of Americans, that's a really high number. That's higher than some voter turnouts that we've seen. That's higher than the people that actually go to church every Sunday. That people just want to do good. So remembering our case for good is a really big one. Sometimes I look around rooms and I have these examples, and then I think that wasn't a good example because maybe people can't relate, but I'm gonna use this one anyway. All right. Anybody heard of Muhammad Ali? He actually said that service is actually the rent we pay for occupying the world, right? And so this doesn't just happen by showing up in spaces. Remembering our case for good is indeed our individual business case. It reminds us not to pass over people. It reminds us not to pass over stuff. It reminds us not to leave something for someone else to do. And it reminds us that each of us in this room actually does have privilege. So sometimes we think privilege is just showing up as someone maybe that would be white, sometimes someone that's male. But I would challenge you to say that there are times where you go in rooms where you're the majority, whether it be your faith and someone else comes in that room that's not part of your faith, whether it be your gender, and sometimes you go in that room and somebody may not be your gender. So everyone has privilege. I think the question is, how do you use it? How do you use your privilege? Leave this conference thinking about that. And I just thought about something too. This entire conference is like a case for good. This entire conference gives purpose. But realize your own case for good. How about speaking out? I thought about this one long and hard before adding this one. Remember I said I'd sometimes have examples and I think, that wasn't a good one. But I don't want to make this political. But I do want to say that when you leave this conference, because I've already seen the QR code, you're expected to give feedback on the conference and how it went, right? The restaurant sometimes that we dine, the bit where they bring the bill, they're already asking, I haven't even paid you yet, and you want me to give you feedback. I received surveys from my doctor, from the hospital, about, how did we do today? I stayed at the Spring Hill Suites. I guarantee they're going to send a survey asking, how did we do today? Tell us how we did. Customer service reps, do you have an extra 2 minutes to stay on and give us feedback on the complaint that you called about or whatever it is that they want your feedback on? It's only a 2-minute survey. Do you know why this is done? Because your thoughts matter. Your thoughts matter, and they actually inform processes and rearrange the way that people are doing things. So we shouldn't shrink from thinking that we don't have to speak out and give our thoughts and opinions on things, especially if they're systemic and they can cause change. And as I mentioned earlier, make your case for good. Your voice has influence, and by speaking up and out, entire processes, again, could be dismantled. Don't ever think that your thoughts on any given situation that it doesn't matter. I think my ask is just that it's in the form of not it being negativity, but advocacy. So use it to continue to champion your case for good. Use it, within society. By the way, using your voice is literally and figuratively. So what I mean by that is it's letter writing. How many of you all are on social media? It's social media. That's your voice as well. When you post something, that's your voice. You're for it, against it. It's funny, it's not funny. It's, educational. It's a number of things. And it's your voice. Many of us are here today, civil rights, including the ADA, and its implications because a group of people actually had the courage to use their voice and to speak out. and to know that there were a group of people that were actually being treated less than. So history shows us over time that elections have even been impacted by one electoral vote because someone decided to speak out, and they spoke out through how they chose to vote. Civic engagement is the opportunity to seek equity and empowerment. And so I keep going back, but I mean to go forward. I'm wrapping up, so I'm bringing this home. And I've already talked about your thoughts on any given situation and asking for how you think about advocacy, and also talking about allyship, right? And also telling you to remember your case for good. But lastly, I think I want to say, where do we go from here? Especially given all that's happening right now. Conferences like this help us to recenter. So thank you again to the planners of the conference for allowing us to kind of recenter, to plan, to organize. Big thank you for that. And at the beginning, I said to remember not just who you are, but whose you are. And essentially, that means know your worth. I could stand here honestly for hours and think of really catchy things to say, but I think everyone just needs to know their worth and how to use it. So let me encourage you not to allow people to define your own worth, okay? Your favor is so real. At this very moment at 2:40 p.m. on April 16th. And I think where we go from here also is balance. We have to know when to pull back, when to push away, when something just doesn't add value. And when we've had a kind of that's enough moment. My absolute favorite though is when I said the 6 and the 7s are my tribe. Assemble your tribe. I have a saying that actually says, go where your love is, which means go where people who know you, value you, accept you. Go where that love is, and stay there and dwell there. It goes back to talking about kind of connectivity and allyship and really just the collective, and life not meaning to be left with you on your own. So healthy relationships indeed do matter. So make a phone call, send a text. We all know when we receive a phone call or a text and someone has said that they're thinking about us, how we feel. And I specifically put this in here to say this. We empower one another when we do this. So if you have not had that today, which I'm sure that most of you have, let me be the first to say, I see you, and I'm glad that you're here. That's really all I have for you today. I'll take any questions that you may have for me on what I've shared or anything else. And then I've included my QR code here for those of you that may want to stay connected with me through LinkedIn. I'd love to be a friend to you, and enjoy the remainder of the conference. Thank you.